Hey, welcome back to Whole Garage. As always, thanks to all the men and women of uniform who have served or are currently serving. Also, shout out to all the first responders. Thank you guys for your service. All right, let's get right into it. Today we're working on the 89 OBS, just kind of chilling on the garage today. If you go to the first video, you can watch that I posted on this truck. But basically, this truck was given to me by my grandpa. It's now my new daily driver. It's done well. I've had it for 3 months. I've not had any issues with it. I did replace a couple tires on the front, and then these back ones are getting up there. They're pretty old. I bought some new tires. I'll probably post another video for that and you guys can see that. However, today we're going to try to refurbish these factory wheels. I was going to put some 22s on here, some US Mag Ramblers, or I was going to go like 454 SS 15s with like some Cooper Cobra meats on here, some pretty wide ones, 275/60, which I know looks good on these tire size wise, but I'm kind of liking these original 15-inch alloy wheels. They are on the original window sticker as being, you know, the original equipment wheels. And they're like premium wheels for this year. You know, they've seen better days. The clear coat's coming off. It's pretty bad. You can't really like polish these because you got to get that clear coat off. They're aluminum alloy, so they're pretty soft. You can't just use anything on them. I picked up some products and I'm gonna try to refurbish these wheels myself. I'm gonna take you guys along the way. Let's get into these products. I spent about 60 bucks. This is the paint I'm gonna use. And then this is stripper. This is what's gonna get that clear coat off. So this was $18.99, $7.99 per can on this spray paint. Also, so I got this at Tractor Supply, these 3 items. And then I got these items at Walmart. So $3.99 for steel wool, 84 cents for this random paintbrush that we're gonna use that stripper with. And then these gloves, they're about $12.99 a box. But if you already have some, I mean, you can even take the price off of that, really. This Mother's Mag Polish is what we're gonna finish these wheels with, prior to the paint, obviously. $5.98 for that. Microfiber towel, I've got a ton of these in the garage already, but if you want to factor that in, you're still looking at like $60 to refurbish these wheels, which is a heck of a deal. There's a couple of YouTube videos about doing it. It's turned out pretty well. They used these similar products, so we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. Alright, so first off, you're going to need either like a 4-way or an air hammer. So I got this 1/2-inch drive, air impact. I've got my 22mm impact socket, and then I got my 1/2-inch drive extension there. 4 jack stands, and then this jack. Just make sure that everything's rated for your vehicle. If you're, you know, putting it on jack stands or whatever, just make it as safe as possible. Luckily, I have a garage big enough where I can keep this in here in case this project takes a little bit longer than expected. But if you don't have an air hose or air compressor and all that, you can do this with a 4-way or a lug wrench or whatever you got. Just make sure that your truck's secure when you put it up. But yeah, so we're gonna start by taking these wheels off. I'm gonna take the center caps off, get the truck up in there, and then I'm gonna take them down to the local tire shop, and I'm actually gonna bust these tires off, and we're gonna start with the wheels. As we get the wheels done, I'll take them back down to the shop and the square body. You know, we'll put the new tires on after I get them painted. Okay, so we got the truck up on all 4 jack stands. Just a quick tip, I recommend leaving the jack under wherever you're working. I'm gonna start on the front here. I got jack stands under here. I know it's secure, but I'm not really jacking it up any higher than the jack stands. I'm leaving the weight all on the jack stands. I'm just leaving it under that cross member, just in case. You never know. So safety first, right? These little lock paw jack stands, like what I have, I just count these teeth. We've got 7 on this side. We want 7 on that side over there to keep the truck level. If it's not level, it's kind of a dangerous situation. So same thing on the back. Count the teeth on your jack stands. Place them in the same relative location, preferably on the frame if you have a frame. I put them on the back axle back here. I'll take you guys back here. There's a couple things to watch out for on the back axle. But yeah, for the most part, just make sure you're counting your teeth and just keep them level. Make sure that they're seated all the way. And if you've got like cracks in your cement or joined areas like I do, just kind of make sure that your jack stand's not sitting in one of those crevices. So I'm gonna go to the back. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so same thing back here. Count the teeth on your jack stands. If you don't have teeth, count the holes. However it works for you, just make sure that they're the same height. Make sure your tires are actually off the ground. If you're having to bust them off with a lug wrench, you'll probably have to leave the tire on the ground to keep it from spinning. But yeah, when you put your rear jack stands in, just make sure you're not, you know, crushing that brake line that runs across there. So just a little tip. Anyways, let's get into it. When you're taking your center cap off, just make sure that you don't use your air impact on these little plastic covers that, you know, hold the center cap on. Also, I did replace these lug nuts a while back. I just wanted to make sure it was safe. So the old lug nuts that were on here they were pretty much stripped out. So also these little plastic covers, if you're a GM fan, you've seen these. They hold your center cap on. These are the newer ones for like the newer vehicles. They'll actually hold the center cap on too. If you buy these with these threaded, these lug nuts have threads on the outside of them. If you buy those for GM, the new GM wheels, they actually work on these older trucks. So it's a 1.5 14 millimeter. So if you wanted to know. But yeah, don't use your air impact on those plastic covers. Take those off and then, you know, then proceed. Okay, so we got all the tires off. Looks kind of crazy in here. It's on, you know, it's pretty solid, but you know, I'm gonna make sure that nobody's around here while I get these tires busted off. But keep all your hardware organized. I got all the lug nuts up here. Like I said, I just replaced these lug nuts. They're pretty good. So maybe check the condition of your lug nuts and stuff like that. These center caps, the original ones, are really expensive. I actually had to replace one. I got this one off of eBay. It's not like perfect, but it matches really well. But yeah, these original part number ones, I forget the part number, but I did a bunch of research on it, and basically I could only find one on eBay, and it was like $100. I think this one even still costs like $50. It was basically a brand new one. So just, I guess part of keeping everything OEM is just really expensive. So I'll show you guys. We're going to take those tires down to the shop. I got them loaded up. I'll show you what they look like. Okay, I got these tires loaded up. I mean, you can see that clear coat coming off already right there, and you can see how it's shining underneath that clear coat. So I'm thinking that if we can get that stuff off, these wheels are going to look pretty good. So all right, let's get to it. Okay, so I just got back from the tire shop. Got the tires off, had them pull the valve stems out, and then obviously the wheel weights, took those off. But I mean, you can see that these are the original factory GM sticker right here. These are called the Ray wheels. You can see it right there, that sticker. These are the OEM 1989 OEM 15-inch alloy wheels. So I've got them here, and then hopefully we can get this black paint off and then polish these wheels up. And then I'm going to use that black paint here in the inside these slots and just kind of replicate the factory look on. So let's get to it. I read the directions on the stripper. It says to pour it in shake well or pour it in a metal container, and then you just start applying it to whatever you're trying to strip. But so I got this plastic cup. Hopefully it doesn't eat through it. I don't really have a metal container, so we're just gonna kind of roll the dice on that. But I'm gonna use this paintbrush, and we're just gonna kind of like put like one good coat on each wheel, and then I'm gonna let it set for, it says 15 minutes there, but we're gonna see. So let's get after it. Don't do like I did. Like I said, I poured it in this plastic cup and it ate a hole in the bottom of it. So yeah, definitely follow the directions. Work in a well ventilated area because this stuff is really strong. But I mean, I got both of these wheels coated up. It looks like the clear's coming off pretty good, so that's good. So I'm gonna keep working with this, and I'm gonna go get a metal container. I got my metal container, my original square body hubcaps. It shouldn't hurt them, but I just took it off the wall there. It's pretty much all I can come up with this metal right now, so I'm just gonna press forward with that. But yeah, I put some more stripper in there, and we're gonna hit these other two wheels up. This is one coat. This is like probably about 10 minutes that I've let it sit on here. And you can see that just with a little bit of rubbing, this clear coat's coming off. And this is actually gonna pay off really well. This wheel's starting to look really nice. So this is about 30 minutes worth of that stripper, letting it set on there. And these wheels are really coming out nice. That clear's coming off. Show you guys. So I've wiped them off with Dawn dish soap as well, with some soap and a brush. But I mean, that stripper actually took all that clear off except for down in there. You can see it. I'll put another coat on it, but I mean, these, you know, they're coming out pretty nice. There's a couple of little dings on the sides and stuff. I mean, they're original wheels, so like, what, you know, 34 years old, 1989. I think once I get these polished up and put some new rubber on them, I mean, get these inserts painted back, you know, that darker color, I think it's gonna really pop and it's gonna look good. Anyway, yeah, just the progress that we've made. I stress on doing this outside. So I got a little cart outside over there, just kind of doing it on top of those outside. But I started doing it in the garage in here, but it's just getting crazy even with the door open. It's coming out nice. I washed them down with a water hose. You can see this wheel is a little bit more, needs a little bit more work. So that's that clear that you want to try to get off. It's pretty nasty stuff, but that stripper is getting it off. This wheel's looking pretty impressive actually. So just kind of letting that Dawn dish soap do its thing too on there. These wheels, if you go to originalwheels.com, which is the only place that I could find, I think there's a couple on eBay that are pretty, like they're reconditioned or whatever, but originalwheels.com, if you buy those wheels, like they're supposed to be like replica, like pretty nice wheels. So $250, or you can buy the $60 setup and a little bit of elbow grease, and you can kind of make these wheels come back to life. So I'm gonna put that other coat on here. I'm gonna wipe them all down with Dawn dish soap again and spray them with a water hose, and then I'm gonna start buffing these things with mothers and just seeing what happens. You know, that mother's polish, I think they're gonna turn out phenomenal. And then, like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna paint that black insert first, tape that triangle, you know, this slot, I'm gonna tape that off and get that, you know, that edge as close to original as I can, where that gun, I think that's a gunmetal color in there originally. I'm gonna go back with it black, and I think it's gonna give it a little bit more pop too, because most of the truck has that black trim running down it, and then it's just got like a lot of black accents. So I think even the bottom of the mirrors are black. So the next portion of the video will probably be me painting these wheels as black inserts, and then you guys will see with the clear coat completely removed what it looks like. They come out pretty good. The hardest part here though is taping off these slots. It's just I've already went through one roll of tape for this whole wheel, so I forgot to mention, have some masking tape available. Also, I tried that steel wool, and don't use steel wool, so it didn't really do anything. It didn't hurt the wheel, but I mean, it really didn't do anything. So taping off all these rounded edges is just a pain, but there's a couple tips. So you don't want, you know, paint going down the lug nut holes or anything like that. So I put a cover over the front of the wheel, and then also the valve stem hole here, I've got a piece of tape under there, kind of like blocking that off. And then you don't want the overspray coming back through the bottom of the lug nut holes to get on your finish of your wheel. So just a little tip. So let's I'm gonna go ahead and I think this one's ready to paint. Get you a can of brake cleaner and get the surface like really slick and cleaned off. You're still gonna have a little bit of residue before you put this tape on. You know, you want to make sure that the surface, that this tape will stick to it, and then also you want the paint to stick as well. So yeah, another tip that I didn't put in the intro: get some brake parts cleaner, rinse them off with soap and water, like that Dawn dish soap, a bucket, and like a clean rag after that stripper, and then rinse that off, and then use brake parts cleaner and let them kind of dry a little bit, and then blow them off with an air hose. And I mean, just make sure that you don't have any moisture on them or anything before you start painting. I just put that black coat on, and I peeled the tape off with it wet. You know, so well ventilated area when you paint. Obviously, I rolled this outside and painted it, but yeah, I mean, it turned out pretty good. I'm gonna let this black dry overnight, and then I'm gonna come back with some mothers on this polish part and clean it up with that mother's polish like I showed you. And then you know, obviously I'm gonna make sure that that black paint is dried up, but I'm gonna use that clear and clear over this. And it's a pretty long job, but I mean, you know, I think it turned out really good. Next time you see me, I'll probably be, hopefully have all the color on with a clear. Okay, so I got done with the wheels, fully polished. I actually just picked these up, took them down to our local discount tire here in my square body. And like I said, I got these new tires also. I'm going to be doing a video on that, so stay tuned for part 2 on that. But I mean, these wheels turned out great. These are, you know, 35-year-old wheels, you know, but you can restore them if you just take the time and, you know, a little bit of patience and some products. You know, it's pretty easy to get that clear coat off with that stripper, and then a set of new tires, I mean, works wonders also. But yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. I'm pretty excited to get this truck back on the road. I'm gonna get these mounted. I'm gonna put the center caps on. I'm gonna get it lowered down. Also got the spare tire and wheel for my square body. Got it mounted. I'm gonna clean these up. They got that soap on there, you know, for seating the beads and stuff, but these wheels actually turned out really good, so I'm pretty excited about it. And these tires look pretty good too, so I'm looking forward to getting these back on the truck. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention, while you got your tires off, take a look at your brake pads and make sure that, you know, your rotors, you know, they're not warped or damaged, you know. Also, your brake hoses, you want to kind of inspect these. These were actually recently replaced, this soft line here on both sides of the front. Okay, so I finally got these things mounted. I torqued them to spec right at about 105 foot-pounds. So make sure you do that. If you do, take your wheels off. I put the center caps back on. These are the original ones. I did go with these Dana Pro Hankook AT2s. Really good looking tires, by the way. So Stick around for the next video. I'll tell you how cheap I got these things. It's a little bit different than everybody else is running, so, but I wanted something 3-peak mountain snowflake, so find the next video. Should be a part 2 for the tires. I'll show you everything I did with these tires and how much it cost me. I'll show you what I was running before and why I chose these. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next one.